Welcome into today's Weber State Wildcat Webcast. I'm your host, Trevor Amicone, and today we are very honored to be joined by Damian Lillard. And Damian, welcome to the webcast today.
Thanks for having me, man.
So let me make sure that I have this all right here, okay? And you can correct me. You probably don't even know this, but let's see if I can get this all right. 5-time Big Sky Conference Player of the Week, National Player of the Week a few weeks ago. You're the nation's leading scorer, obviously. You're now on the Oscar Robertson Trophy watch list, the John Wooden watch list, and the Bob Cousy finalist.
Yeah, that is correct.
So do you pay attention to that at all? How do you deal with all that?
I say it all the time. The best thing to do is, keep my focus on our team and winning games. And, that's what I've done up to this point. So, for me to get away from doing that, that might affect how successful we've been as a team and how successful I've been individually. But it's pretty simple, when I know what got me to this point. It wouldn't make sense for me to get away from it now when it's brought me and my team so much success.
So obviously there's not only a lot of attention from these national awards and all of these honors that you're getting, there's a lot of attention from the press, there's a lot of attention from, obviously you're walking around campus getting a lot of attention from students and professors and all these people. How have you been able to deal with all of that attention?
Just be myself, when people give you so much credit for everything, and it's important that you let them know that there's other people involved. My teammates play a big part in how successful I've been, my coaches as well, and they allowed me to be in this position, and we don't have jealousy, and people always want to talk about those kind of things with me, and it's good to, come around my team and my coaches and know that I don't have to deal with that outside pressure. So, I just try to, keep it in perspective, not let it go to my head and, on my own time, not think about it so much, just constantly trying to keep my focus on what got me to this point makes it a lot easier.
So you talk a little bit about how the team, there's no ego, the team's real easy to play with. What has made this team get so tight-knit as a group?
The main thing is probably how close we are off the court. We love playing with each other and we have fun with each other, but it comes down to us being together so much. Off the court, we hang out, we go out to eat, we go see movies, we come to the gym, and guys are getting extra work in, and we just end up sitting there for about 2 hours after we're done and just talking and hanging out. So, when you have so much chemistry away from the game, and you start to, have love for each other off the court, it makes it a lot easier to function on the court.
So the team's starting to play really well. Obviously, the two big home wins this week. What's clicking for you guys?
We just starting to figure it out. We starting to know what makes us successful, and people are buying in even more than we had before. And throughout the season, we've had injuries. Guys have been going away and coming back, and now we got our team together, and now we got a chance to really improve as a whole. Guys are more comfortable in their roles now because they were thrown into the fire. Like Jelon, Mike, guys are ready now because they got thrown into the fire when Bull went down, Mook went down.
Right.
And I think we're just more comfortable with ourselves now that we got our team together and we know our roles and everything.
So you think that's helped? Obviously, every night it's a different guy. You hear about, obviously the last 2 nights you had 35 and 40, but obviously every night it seems like there's a different guy stepping up. You think that the injuries have helped that with guys having to step in?
I think it did help. It helped a lot. Going back to last year when I got hurt, I think our whole team had a chance to really grow. A lot of guys got a lot better and more confident, and they carried over to this year. We've had some injuries, a little bit of adversity, and guys like Jelon, Mike, Jordan, Mahoney, James even, had to step up and, do things that wasn't expected of them from the beginning. And I think the fact that they had been put in that position is helping our team now because they're more prepared, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. So now, obviously the loss at Idaho State was a little bit rough. And what weaknesses does this team have that need improving going forward?
Well, we're our own worst enemy. We do things, when we have bad games or things don't go our way, it's because of things that we can control. And, Idaho State, we just didn't have ourselves ready. That was the bottom line. We didn't have the energy and the enthusiasm that we needed to win that game on their court. They were more wanting to beat us than we wanted to beat them, and a lot of times when you get on winning streaks, you start to seem like you're entitled to win a game, like we're supposed to win a game, and, it got us beat, so I feel like only we can beat ourselves. You know, a lot of times that's what it comes down to. And if we come out focused and ready to play, we should win games.
So I've noticed through your Twitter and through just seeing the look in your eyes after a loss, you don't take losing very well. What did that Idaho State loss do to motivate you?
I hadn't felt it in so long. You know what I mean? We was on a 10-game winning streak, and it hurt a lot because throughout the game it was kind of like, you know we're not playing well.
Yeah. We
just want to give ourselves a chance to win. And when it came down to it, we gave ourselves the lead towards the end of the game, and I missed a shot, and then they come down and beat us at the buzzer. And, you know, they run on the court, and that's what made it hurt even more, just the fact that we didn't bring it. You know, we didn't leave everything out there, and then we lose the game. So, and then we had the whole bus ride, and we had to wait a whole week almost till our next game. So we just got back in the gym and got after it. You know, we wanted to come out that next game and make a statement.
Yeah, and obviously you guys did, and you have this week, and we talked about the team clicking and playing well. But you've scored 75 points this last week in 2 games. What's clicking for you?
It's just my body of work. That's the way I see it. It goes back to before Idaho State. Before that game and the game before that, I kind of started to struggle a little bit shooting the ball, and I went back to the gym and I worked really hard, every day, and it was kind of like, my shot is falling in practice, it's falling in workouts, and things were going well, and then I get to the game and I don't play well, and I think this week has just paid off for me. It kind of added up. And, that's all I got to keep doing is putting in the work and trusting my teammates and trying to win games. Keeping that number one is what has allowed me to be so successful.
Yeah. So now let's talk about you a little bit more.
Right.
So did you, were you born a phenom? Is this something that you were draining three-pointers at 2 years old, or is it something you had to work your way through getting up to this point?
I definitely had to work my way to this point. I was in the 11th grade and I wasn't even getting recruited.
Yeah.
And, it was a guy that I had been around since the 8th grade, Raymond Young, AAU coach. I work out with him when I go home, and he really challenged me. I didn't know what working hard was. I didn't know what it took to be a college basketball player, and he kind of pulled me to the side, and we took from that point when I met him in 8th grade, he had been pushing me, and I hadn't figured it out all the way until 11th grade. When it was almost time that I wasn't going to get a scholarship, and we just worked and worked and worked, and once I realized how much better it got me and how much I improved, I just kept doing it. And then I came to Weber State, and I wasn't as good as I needed to be. I was the first team all-conference my freshman year, but I wasn't as good as I felt like I should be. And I think my body of work, like I said before, is just adding up. I've been constantly working on my game and adding things to my game, and I think now it's all just coming to the surface. Everything is adding up now. Now,
so you've had injuries as recently as last year. It was obviously had you out for most of the year last year. Has that what's been the biggest obstacle for you on your way to where you are now? Was that it?
That was one of the main ones. I had never been hurt before that, so that was really tough. But the biggest obstacle for me was probably just where I come from. That was the main thing, coming from a city where almost everything is negative and violent, and you got to really be careful of where you are and who you're around. And I was cool with it, a lot of people back home, but you never know, things can go wrong at any time in Oakland. And I was real scared that I wouldn't make it to this point. You know what I mean? Not that I was a good kid, I did what I was supposed to be doing, but it's just so much that goes on in the city that things can go wrong for you at any time, man. I'm just proud that I had a family and I had friends that, really looked out for me and pushed me in this direction instead of letting me fall into what the streets and, all of that type of stuff. And, that was the biggest obstacle for me, was just being my own man and not following what a lot of people that I grew up with fell into.
So now, talking about your upbringing in Oakland, obviously you talked about it a little bit. What if someone was watching this who's in a similar situation, growing up in that type of in those types of circumstances, what would be your advice to them as to how to get out of it like you have, and to how to rise above all of that?
I think the main thing is to find an escape. Find a way to escape, man. basketball was my way to get away from everything. A lot of times when I was in high school, I would have practice right after school and weights after practice, and then I would catch the bus from one side of Oakland all the way back home. And, you know, I would pass by so many things and see so much going on. So, you know, by the time I got home, it was easy. 6 o'clock, I can go do a whole bunch of stuff, you know, that wasn't right. But instead, I would walk around the corner to the recreation center that I lived by, and I just stayed there until it closed around 9:30. And, you know, that was my way of getting away from everything. It was even times where I would go to the gym and I would come back and something happened, you know what I mean? Like, I would come home and they'd be like, don't you know so-and-so just got shot around the corner? And so much would go by during such a short time, you know, just 3 hours going around the corner and just hanging around the gym. But that was my escape. You know, I had something that I could always run to and just be there, you know, and it's just paying off for me. You know, it don't have to be a sport. It could be anything. If you like art, you know, you can find somewhere to go do some art, you know, just stay out of the way. And, you know, you just got to stick to it. And basketball was just the thing that I ended up sticking to.
Who are some of the people that you've had that have helped you along the way that, you know, obviously you mentioned your family, but who have been some people that have had so much influence in your life to get you out of that and to where you are now?
Raymond Young, the guy I mentioned before, he was actually at our last game, and he just was constantly on me and the whole group of my friends, and Philip Taylor as well, one of my best friends' dad. He was, you know, they just stayed on us. If we wanted to, you know, on a Friday, if we just wanted to have fun, they'd tell us, like, everybody want to have fun. You want to go to school? You want a scholarship? And, if, you know, depending on what our answer was, well, let's go to the gym. He was willing to drop whatever he had to do to take us to the gym. I remember one time I was in the 5th grade, and P.J. Taylor, one of my best friends, and T.J. Taylor, one of my best friends. T.J. had to be 1st grade maybe. P.J. was in the 5th grade with me and his dad, Philip Taylor. I walked in the gym, and I had on my uniform that I wore to school that day, and he said, come on, you working out? And then I was like, I don't have clothes to work out. And he said, well, you working out in that? You know, made me roll my pants up. I had a, you know, polo shirt on, and he made me do it. And I think just having people like him and Raym around, you know, it was, you know, it helped me do a lot of things.
So now, speaking of being at the gym and working out all the time, it seems like I can't come over here and do a stand-up or film some stuff without seeing you and your teammates over here working out. Now, at the same time, I go over to the gym at the school all the time, and it was funny, we have this joke with all these guys that showed up at New Year's and were there for about 3 weeks and they're done. So a lot of people can get motivated like that, but how do you stay motivated day in and day out so that you're at the gym all the time?
You got to throw wood on the fire. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, it's people out there that haven't seen me play. You know, they'll probably hear, you know, well, Damian Lillard had 40 points, and then at the next game, it could be somebody there that's like, he's not that good, or I ain't seen him play, I want to see for myself, or, you know, it's just always doubters. And I know I could be a lot better than I am. You know, I want to be a great player, and I know I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? And I just always throw wood on the fire, doubt. You know, when something goes wrong in my family, I want to have a chance to play basketball for a living. So, you know, I just make sure I keep throwing wood on the fire. You know, if I see another guy in college is doing things better than me, you know, that inspires me to do things better. And I think just throwing wood on the fire is what keeps me coming to the gym. You know, if I don't shoot well in the game, I'm going to come right back to the gym, and it's going to bother me for about 3 weeks. You know, I missed 4 free throws the other night, and that has bothered me more than anything. You know, people, you know, the first thing Raymond came up to me, he said, good game, and I said, man, I missed 4 free throws. You know what I mean? And you got to just have that edge and want to keep getting better all the time, or that's when you're going to stay where you are, and you never want to do that.
So a little bit of a perfectionist over here then.
Yeah, I mean, you can't perfect the game, you know what I mean? So you're never going to go out there and make every shot. So that's just letting you know that you can always work on your game.
So speaking of other guys in the game now, a lot of people here, especially around here in Utah, are comparing you to former BYU player Jimmer Fredette. You're leading the nation in scoring. Compare your game to his.
Jimmer is a great shooter. You know, he has a great feel for the game, you know, as far as making the right play. He's a competitor, as great a competitor as I've seen in a while, you know, since I've been watching college basketball. And, you know, it took a lot the way he carried his team, you know, the last 2 seasons. And I really respect everything about him, you know, what he stands for and, you know, what he did for his team and how he dealt with all of the you know, Jimmer mania and all of that. I really, because the little bit of, you know, things that's going on with me is nothing compared to the Jimmer mania, and it kind of get to you, you know, it can wear on you. So, you know, I really respect the fact that he was able to keep his season going the way it did with all that pressure. And, you know, I think we both have the same ability to score the ball. I think I'm a little more of an athlete than he is. You know, you can compare us to say we both scorers or whatever, but I think, you know, we're very similar players as far as basketball IQ, you know, ability to score, and I just think I'm a little more athletic.
Yeah. So you just talked about how there was so much, you talked about Jimmer mania, it's just so crazy. And here, it's still, you're getting a lot of attention, but it's not quite as crazy as Jimmer. Does that bug you? Does that motivate you a little bit, or do you like being able to stay under the radar?
Well, that doesn't bug me. You know, I'm not really the type of guy that likes all the attention and all that. If it's going to be a lot of attention, I'd rather it be on our team, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm more of an under-the-radar type of guy. That's how my family, everybody in my family is that way, you know, and that's the best way to go. To me, I like to do my work in the gym and get out, you know what I mean? And people just think, you know, oh, he's leading the nation in scoring, but what they don't know is it took a lot of time, on my own time, to get to this point. And, you know, it doesn't bother me at all. I like being under the radar. I like for people to not know about me, you know what I mean? So
it seems like every highlight package that we do with you ends up with you making a shot, getting fouled, and ended up on the ground. How's your body holding up through now you're more than halfway through the season?
It's holding up good. You know, when I broke my foot, I think I built myself up for this, you know what I mean? I did a lot of, you know, swimming in the Swimex, you know, that's up against the current, so it can take a toll on you. And I did a lot of lifting and things like that, a lot of squats, and, you know, I really prepared my body for this. So I think I'm holding up fine, and I stretch a lot. I take ice baths every other day, you know, to keep my body fresh because I know I'm gonna need to play a lot of minutes, and I know people are gonna be as physical as possible, you know, with me. So, you know, the best thing I could do is just keep doing what I've been doing, taking ice baths, stretching, and, you know, getting rest.
So now I've asked a lot of our viewers what they would like to hear from you, what they would like me to ask you, and the number one response of all of them is, what does the tattoo say? What is the tattoo on
this one?
Yeah.
Well, it says a lot. I can tell you what it means, but it's just a tattoo. It's about faith. You know what I mean? And a lot of times things can go wrong, and you can have a little doubt. And of course, this is from the Bible, so it's about, you know, faith in God. But I not only applied it to that, but I applied it to everything in my life. You know, because a lot of times when everything is going right, it's easy to believe in something, but as soon as things start to fall apart, it's easy to lose faith. And you know, a lot of times people go through crisis in their lives and they lose faith in God. You know, you should never lose faith in God. I've always had faith in God, and when things go wrong on the basketball court, I always have faith in myself and my teammates. I never lose faith, and you know, that's basically what it's about, what it means. It's just having faith and, you know, not going away from, you know, what's right.
Yeah. So now I mean, every night there's 8, 9, 10 NBA scouts here. What do you think about that while you're out there?
It doesn't bother me. It's more exciting than it is anything else. You know, just to know that, all right, they here, they want to see what I'm about. And you know, the best thing for me to do is just keep doing what I've been doing. You know, I put the time into the gym, and I know what I'm gonna get from that. And as long as I keep focusing on winning games and making my teammates and my team better, you know, I think I couldn't hurt myself.
So, take me through a day, in a day in the life of Damian Lillard. Take me through a game day. What's that like?
A game day?
Yeah.
On the game day, I wake up, I eat breakfast, go to class, and then after class, I just, you know, hang around for a second, and then, you know, I just trying to wind down a little bit, just get my mind right, and then we come to shoot around. We have our shoot around, do all of our prep.
The shoot around is about how long before the game?
It's maybe about 5 hours, 6 hours before the game. And then right after that, I'll do a shooting routine for about 45 minutes before every game. And then we go to pregame meal, and then I go home and I play NBA 2K12. I play the video game. I do it before every game, unless we're on the road. That's the only time. But, you know, I don't know. That's just what I do. I just get on the sticks and play a little bit just to relax a little bit, because I'm always edgy before games. I'm just kind of anxious for the game to come. And, you know, when I start playing the game, it kind of relaxes me a little bit. And then I just drive over. I make sure I grab my Beats headphones, and then that's when I get in my zone.
So let's talk about now. We'll wrap up with some rapid fire type feature questions. First off, you came here from Oakland, California. Utah, a little bit different. What's been the biggest difference and the biggest adjustment for you to make from Oakland to Utah?
The biggest difference is just the way it is. You know, how people are.
Yeah.
When you come to Oakland, the first thing you're gonna notice is 30 people just standing on every block, just outside doing whatever it could be. You know, bad things, good things, you never know. But and it just looks bad. You know, it's not neat. You know what I mean? And when you come here, everything just seems so positive. You can walk down the street if you wanted to at night. I can walk to Smith's.
Right.
In Oakland, you can't do that. It's just not safe, and nobody does it. So I think the main difference will be, you know, just how people are. The environment is so much better. It's not dangerous to me at all. I don't see it that way. And the biggest adjustment will be the basketball. You know, part of it, just getting used to playing at the college level, the speed, how strong people are. But I've always been a laid-back type of guy. You know, I was never really an Oakland guy. You know what I mean? I never fell into that type of lifestyle. But you know, I think this environment fits me better. You know, the way I am, just how laid back, and you know, I'm nice to people, just how people here are nice to people, and you know, I like it here. So it wasn't a big adjustment for me at all.
All right, so some rapid fire, quick favorites. Favorite food?
My favorite food is probably catfish.
Really?
Yeah.
Catfish?
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to eat catfish?
It used to be Famous Dave's, but they don't have it no more.
What? Well, we got to talk to Famous Dave's about that.
We do need to talk to them. I guess enough people didn't buy it. So.
Well, we'll just have to get you over there. All right. So, obviously, a student athlete, you're getting all this attention. So, not a whole lot of spare time. But what's your favorite thing to do when you do get the spare time?
Play 2K12, NBA 2K12. I do that, and I like to bowl.
You like to bowl?
I like to bowl. I bowl pretty often. Well, when I had time, when we're not in the season, I bowl.
Are you pretty good?
I'm good.
What's your average score?
Probably 190, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's like 100 more than me.
Yeah, so. I'm not a pro, but I can bowl.
So, all right. So, what's your favorite movie?
He Got Game, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably He Got Game.
So, do you have a favorite actor, favorite actress?
My favorite actor is probably Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Actress is probably Zoe Saldana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana.
There you go. I don't blame you. All right, everybody wants to know Damian Lillard's biggest pet peeve.
My biggest pet peeve is people that talk too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate when people just constantly talking, you know. And where I'm from, people that talk too much are the softest people, you know what I mean? I'm kind of a quiet, laid-back dude, so if I'm just laid back watching TV, I don't like people just constantly in my ear just running their mouth, so probably people that talk too much.
All right, there you go. I'll take note. So what is your favorite place that you've ever played, like favorite venue, favorite atmosphere?
Favorite place I've played is Utah State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best atmosphere I've played at in college.
So what about that atmosphere makes it your favorite?
Everybody is against you.
Yeah.
You know, when we play at Utah State, I feel like there's nobody in the building that want us to win. It's loud, you know what I mean? And it's as competitive as it's going to get, you know, because it's like you got them playing against you and then the crowd is against you. You almost feel like the referees are against you, too.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think we would like it any other way.
Yeah. All right, so your favorite, you said before a game, you go put on your headphones, pump yourself up. What music do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of J. Cole.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite rapper, and I think he rapped about a lot of stuff that I stand for, about how, you know, where he come from and how he was different than everybody else, and, you know, how he was just so driven, you know what I mean? And I like the struggle that he talked about and how he got away from it.
All right, we'll wrap up with two last feature questions. Who is your hero and why?
I can't think of somebody that's a hero. I don't see nobody as my hero.
Yeah.
But I think Michael Jordan is somebody that I really looked up to, not because he was the greatest player ever. It was just because, you know, I read like books about him, and I've seen a lot of quotes about him, and I watched a lot of his videos and interviews and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that he value, I value too. Yeah. You know, not even as far as, I'm not being on the same level as a player, but just the way he thinks, I feel like it says a lot about people's character and, you know, how people's minds work. I think the same way.
All right, and then the last one, what's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice that somebody has ever given me is probably to be as different as I could possibly be from everybody else. Even when I was in high school, my dad would always tell me to be different. You know, my mom, they wanted me to be different, you know what I mean? And my brother, he wasn't perfect, and I learned from everything he did, and that helped me be more different. You know, just the fact that they constantly wanted me to be different, so much more different than everybody else, I think that's what allowed me to get away from what I saw back home. And when I came here, you know, you see, you know, people stay up a lot. College students, they think it's just fun time, and on the weekend they don't get rest. And now my mind just works like now when people go to parties, sometimes I'll just pass, you know what I mean? Just to be like, all right, I could be different by not going. I could, you know, get more rest, you know, instead of following the crowd, basically, you know, just do what I think is best.
Well, you definitely are one of a kind, Damian. Thank you so much for joining us on the webcast today. That's been our show today, and as always, we'll see you next week, and go Wildcats.